This is Honor's latest foldable phone. It's called the Magic VS, and it just launched in China. And they've sent this out to me to give you a hands-on and first impressions of the hardware side of things with the new foldable phone here from Honor. So it has a battery capacity, 5,000 milliamp hours, which is the largest now in a foldable phone. And a weight, if you get the vegan leather version, of just 261 grams, also making it the lightest there. So the screen here is a 90 Hz 7.9 inch screen, OLED, the inner screen, and then the outer screen that is 6.45 inches. So it does come nicely presented in this box. So lifting up the lid here, you'll see that we do have the Magic VS. Of course, it's open in the open state as they ship all foldable phones there. That's just the way they come. They like to ship them out and have them open. So lifting that up, underneath here, you will find the accessories. In this little box here, we have the charger. It does use Honor's Supercharge, which is 66 watts, and it will take just 46 minutes to fully charge the 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The USB cable, which is a Type A to Type C cable. Up the top here, we've got our SIM tray tool and the case. So there's the SIM tray tool, and the case is one of those ones there which does have an adhesive to it, so it sticks onto the back and will give some protection around the edge of it, and then the back of it, the material. Very nice. You can see it's got Honor right there. So this is a synthetic leather style material here. Really good build quality with this case, and there's a raised lip here to protect that camera module. So first thing you notice about this phone, that when you're holding it for a foldable, very good weight, 261 grams, making it the lightest foldable out there at the time of this video at least. So we've got our spine on the back here. This is metal frame all around the outside, and this is rounded here. So in hand, it feels good. Got the curvature to the glass right here. So this screen, the outer screen here, is a standard size. So 6.45 inches OLED. Both of the screens are OLED. This outer one is 120 Hertz, the refresh rate. And we're looking at a 90% screen to body ratio. It's also super bright, 1200 nits and 431 ppi. So it's really sharp to look at. Very nice display here too. So we have a built-in 16 megapixel camera there at the top. It's just a little bit hard to see, but it's right there. Okay, you can just see it now. And really like it. So the metal frame around the outside means it just feels really high quality here. So we have a capacitive always on fingerprint reader here, side one. So it's also doubling as the power button. Unlocking with this is excellent. Okay, very fast, very accurate. Metal volume up and down buttons, and the frame here just looks good. You can see those antenna lines. Down the bottom, you'll see one of two of our loudspeakers. Our SIM tray there does take 2 nano SIM, so there's no micro SD card support. Microphone and video out from this Type-C port too, which is excellent. And you'll see when it's fully closed, there's no ugly gap. So this is brilliant. There's no horrible gap in there, so bits of material, dust and stuff is going to get in there. When you open and you close it, and I'll show you more of this soon, it's held by magnets to keep it closed. It feels really nice, this hinge. So that is it closed now, and yeah, no gap whatsoever. Up the top here, you'll see the other speaker, IR transmitter, secondary mic there for noise cancellation with voice calls. That's of course used with our cameras. Speaking of which, the cameras here on the back, I like the design of this camera module. So the glass here is curved on the side, so when you're holding it, it feels a little bit more comfortable. And it's a bit of a mirror here too. You can see a few smudges and fingerprints, which is pretty normal there too. So with the cameras here, the main camera is an IMX 800. So that is a Sony sensor with an f1.9 aperture, 54 megapixels. An ultra-wide camera, which is 50 megapixels. It does also double as a macro camera, f2.0, which is great. And then a 3x optical camera, which is 8 megapixels. So excellent in the camera department there. Then opening it up, there's a bit of resistance here because of the magnet. So you need to apply a little bit of pressure to open it, which is good. That means the screen's not just going to open up by itself. And you see now this display looks absolutely stunning. So you get super deep blacks. In fact, the colors on both of the screens are really good. We've got DCI-P3 wide color gamut coverage with these screens. So that's 1.07 billion colors that they can display. So 90 Hertz with this screen, We have the 120 on the outer screen, and being 90 hertz, I'm not actually bothered by that at all because it's battery saving for me. It's going to give us really good battery life, which I'll go into, of course, in the final review, and I'll show you a lot more of the screen. So we do have a 16 megapixel camera. You can just see there, cutout style. So it's not an under display camera, which I prefer it's not, because those always have a bit of a blurred quality to them. And at least here we're getting a normal quality camera being like that. Now this mechanism, just wanted to talk a little bit about that it's very lightweight. So they put a lot of effort into reducing the weight in the hinge mechanisms. There's no gears in there, in fact, but you'd never know. It feels really good, very smooth. Now, it doesn't have a spring-loaded feel to it. In fact, if I just leave it, you'll see that that's where it's going to sit. So whatever I do, it's just going to be like that. It's not going to spring itself open, which is good. And what about that crease? I know everyone's going to ask that. Okay, you can see it there a little bit. And yes, you do feel a slight bit of it drops down by approximately, I would say, a millimeter or something like that, or even under. You barely even notice it at all. It does seem better than the Z Fold 4 to me with this. And what I really like is the fact, of course, that when you close it, the screen sits absolutely flush there, and you can't see any gap. No gap there whatsoever. In fact, it is that small, the gap, that I think everyone's doing this test. Okay, so you put a bit of paper in there, it's going to hold it. It's there because nothing can get in there, and I can't just push a bit of paper between there, which is good because competitors like that Galaxy Z Fold 4 with a big gap in it, you get that when it's in your pocket, it all fills up full of dust. You get a lot of dust inside the screen. I know that, having owned one, but it's not going to happen here because the way it seals around with the magnets there, and the screen isn't touching itself. So when it's folded, okay, it's not actually the screen's going to be pressing up against the other screen. No, it is this little slightly raised lip around the outside, and it gives that very satisfying noise too when you close it. I do like that. And that magnet to it, so it's held closed, doesn't rattle, and yeah, that hinge is feeling really good. The Magic VS hardware for me is stunning here. It's premium, absolutely superb build quality to it, and the finish of everything. And yet they still managed to fit in here a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Well, in total, 5,000 milliamp hours, because it's split between, of course, the two sides. And yet it's only that 6.1 millimeters thin, which is absolutely amazing. So we do have of course, the 66 watt Honor supercharge, as I mentioned. So the charge time is 46 minutes. That's it, even though it does have that larger capacity. So not bad. Again, that's faster than Samsung with their charge times, and they've got a smaller battery in their Z Fold 4. So first impressions just with the hardware here is it is stunning, very nice. So folding mechanism, big thumbs up from me. The weight of it, if you do happen to get the vegan leather version, then it will be the 261 grams. This model that has the glass on the back of it, it is 267 grams. So it's only 6 grams heavier, but doesn't make it then the lightest, but it's the vegan version that is. And I love how thin it is. So 6.1 millimeters when you have it fully opened. And you got that more immersive 7.9 inch screen here, OLED 90 hertz compared to the competitors, which are slightly smaller. The more practical outer screen, very nice to use because it's 12:9 aspect ratio. It's not too thin, not too narrow. A basic normal phone size there. So camera samples, battery life, software performance, software features, benchmarks, camera samples will all be coming when I do get the final software, and that will be early next year with the global release. So do please stay tuned for that, subscribe, and I hope to see you back with the final review, the full review of the Magic VS here from Honor. Thank you so much for watching this early preview hands-on of the hardware.